In regards to the quarterback position, we made a change in game, and Kenny will start this week, and I just want to talk about that for a moment. We made the change. Obviously, Mitch's performance was a component of the decision, but not the only component of the decision, and I just want to be really clear there. Oftentimes, the quarterback position gets too much credit, too much blame. We haven't moved the ball fluidly enough to our liking. We hadn't put enough points on the board. The quarterback is a component of that, but not the only component. We've all got to absorb the responsibility that comes with what we haven't done, particularly in that phase, including myself, and starting with myself. And so when you make a quarterback change, you're really sensitive to that component of it, because I don't want to dump the responsibility of what transpired at Mitch's feet. That's not fair to him. He's played better than that description.
And there you have it, Mike Tomlin right there, trying to still go back for how Mitch Trubisky has started so far this season, but it is in the end right now for the moment, and highly likely they shouldn't go back to Mitch, but it is Kenny Pickett time. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to this special edition here, a show blitz here of the Steelers versus Bills Week 3 pregame show here of the Mass Steel podcast, where, of course, yours truly, Charles Prodigy Richey right now. And definitely, I mean, you could definitely tell, like, one of the things, too, that Mike Tomlin was alluding to, basically, what the offense is definitely struggling at. I've been piling it a lot throughout this whole season so far. The Steelers' inability to be consistent on third downs. They have been 19 out of 51 successful conversions this year for 37%, which is 20th in the league. Definitely needs to get better. Now, if you look at last week in the Steelers versus Jets game, in that matchup in week 4 right there, you saw clearly what was going on, like, per se, in the first half right there in that contest. First half versus the Jets right there at the end of the day, I mean, third down conversions were definitely problematic. They were 1 of 6 where they elected to go for 5 passing attempts out of those 6 attempts right there. They were 1 of 5 in that regard. Tried running it one time. They were unsuccessful. But then you saw the difference in the second half right there, too. When Kenny Pickett came in, sharp and crisp. 4 of 4 on third down conversions, including going 1 of 2 right there on the ground. 5 for 6 in the second half, would end up finishing day 6 of 12 right there. So 17% to 50%, a noticeable big jump right there. So I mean, that has been some interesting stuff right there, to say the least. And man, it was definitely been a head scratcher a year so far. I mean, this year it doesn't seem like it's going to be much right here. The way this season's going, I mean, we could anticipate for the first time since 2003 a losing season for the first time in about 18 years. It's been that long, and since Ben Roethlisberger's quarterbacking. But anyway, we're here right now for we will see how this continues to go from the moment right now. I mean, the Steelers right now definitely got an uphill battle, to say the least, to climb right now. Not going to get easy from this standpoint, obviously. They got to go on the road versus Buffalo. Not really many people are expecting much this week. And then, of course, it gets even better. Got to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, then back-to-back games on the road at Miami, which would be a Sunday night football matchup right there. And then after that, they will be on the road versus the Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field for this year, as though before they head to their bye. And that game, the Steelers versus Eagles game, that will be on at 1 Eastern time right there, which they haven't won in the 60s. So to say the least. But then after that, they'll have their bye week. And November 13th is when they'll return to Acrisure Stadium to take on the New Orleans Saints. And we'll see how it continues to go for the most part. But for right now, it has definitely been a feeling of uncertainty. Many people would definitely argue that the season is just about over right now at this point. I mean, when you look at, and to be honest, yeah, I have no issues with that. I I think if anything, a lot of people are definitely feeling the Kenny Pickett era being run right now. But at the same time too, it's just clearly the reins are here. And I think the Steelers have done successfully. A lot of people have been wondering. I think it was Chris Hokie was saying, somebody in the Pittsburgh media was saying that the Steelers will be 4-0, or should be 4-0 right now. If I think if Pickett was starting. And to be honest, yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure about 4-0. I'd probably go 3-1, maybe 2-2. Because to be honest, yeah, I think definitely when I look back at it, the Bengals game, they definitely played their butts off, no doubt. Chris Hokie was saying right now they'd be 4-0 right now, a healthy TJ Watt, is basically what he said. He's saying if Watt doesn't get hurt, and I know injuries are a part of the game as much as tackling and blocking, they're 4-0 right now, according to Steelers defensive lineman Chris Hoke, uh, who was made an appearance on the Cook and Joe show earlier in the week, which will have been on Thursday's show. And I'm just not so sure. Don't get me wrong. His impact is definitely felt significantly and forcing turnovers and helping create like negative yardage. That could also be a big element in like stopping the run too. Successfully too. He's done a lot as far as like tackles for loss, quarterback hits. But I still maintain that Browns game, even if TJ Watt is healthy, I think they'd still end up losing that game. You're not going to win the game if you're not able to stop the run right there. But anyway, we're here right now. Kenny Pickett, he's going to get his first start today at noon Eastern time. 1 Eastern time, excuse me. Steelers have won 3 out of the previous 5 matchups versus Bills since 2013. They snapped their 2-game losing streak last season in the opener. Steelers still lead the all-time series at 17-11, which includes 15-10 in the regular season, and they are 2-1 in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin did say he considered going back to Mitch Trubisky this week, but because of his familiarity with Buffalo, Trubisky right now, as we look at the official depth chart right now for the Steelers, they are right now got the offense set up. It is now Kenny Pickett 1, followed by Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. Basically, looking at it. And also too, like a noticeable change in the depth chart though too that happened when last week too. Let's not forget Montrevious Adams right here, who actually started last week instead of Tyson Alalo. He is now the official nose tackle up front. Tyson will sit second right now. Montrevious Adams had an okay game. I felt versus the Jets in that game. In that contest right here, Travis Adams, he had 2 total tackles, all of them solo. We had Tyson Alalo right now, who's not. Who's been kind of struggling a little bit since coming off his knee injury. So that was the only other noticeable depth chart right there. But Tyson Alalo, I mean, for the most part, this season, I mean, when you look at him too, I mean, a guy who's in his mid 30s. I mean, it definitely was clearly missed last season, but it doesn't seem like he's been like the same guy so far. I mean, this season, I mean, for the most part, he's only had 3 total tackles this year. And he's been missing in action since the Browns game. So didn't play at all last week in the Steelers lost 2024 to the New York Jets. Tomlin, in regards to the quarterback change, he said no one particular play. It was how I felt and we felt in game. I'm facing Buffalo so frequently, it feels like a division game. And if you remember too, I mean the Steelers right now, for them facing the Bills right now, I mean they have definitely faced them. I mean quite frequently for so many years, basically. And I want to say that has been recently, consistently since 2019. They've been facing the Buffalo Bills here. So I mean, basically, it's self. I mean, like this past decade. I mean, they have faced the Buffalo Bills 6 times so far this decade since 2010. And more in particular for 3 straight years. This will be the 4th straight year they'll be facing each other. Kenny Pickett, he'll look to become the 4th Steelers quarterback to earn his first win in his first career start, joining Mike Krzyzek, Ben Roethlisberger, and Devlin Hodges. Remember, Mike Krzyzek, he was famously remembered for coming behind Ryan, a dominant defense. Speaking of which, and where the Pittsburgh Steelers need some big time help right there. Krzyzek, he was 6-0 that season right there behind that Steel Curtain defense. And the Steelers were 1-4 right there at that moment in time. And I think their last loss before they got their run 46 years ago in 1976. Their last loss was to the Cleveland Browns. They actually managed to win 9 straight games in the regular season, 1 game in the playoffs, a 10-game winning streak. They went 10-1 the rest of the way. Of course, lose to the Oakland Raiders in the AFC Championship game. Ben Roethlisberger right now, when you look at like quarterbacks who had like their rookie starts, he still has the NFL record as well as the Steelers record as well, with 13 wins. Of course, going 13-0 in 2004, followed by Ben Roethlisberger's / Cordell Stewart. He went 11-5 before officially becoming a starter, getting his first game on August 31st against Dallas Cowboys. It was an opening day loss, but he went 11-5 that year. And then, of course, you had Mason Rudolph 3 years ago. He went 5-3 with his first start being against the 49ers. Those are the only winning quarterbacks right there for quarterbacks who made their start and their first starts right there, not yellow rookie starts. So Kenny Pickett right now is definitely the time is now. But at the same time, too, I mean, I think they're going to continue to groom this kid and watch it develop. And I just definitely will say this. I mean, he has been a guy that's been taking clearly command of the huddle for right now. And just got to make sure they're right here on this. It is definitely going to be a unbelievable next coming weeks right now. And going into it right now, for the most part, let's see what happens from there. Let's also look at another star here on this team right now, but as a defense star, Alex Highsmith right there, who's definitely been working his tail off this season right now. I mean, he is a guy right now who has been coming along the ways little by little. Right now, he plays right outside linebacker, and Alex Highsmith, who currently leads the league in sacks. I mean, leads the AFC with sacks. Excuse me, second overall. He's got 5.5 sacks in the league right now. Leads the AFC. And is fourth in the league with 8 quarterback hits and is sixth in the league with 5 tackles for loss. First thing that stands out, and this was mentioned by one of his coaches, Brian Flores. First thing that stands out about him is how hard he works on the field, in the weight room, just as Kraft. Said Steelers senior defensive assistant linebackers coach Brian Flores. He works hard to get better every single day, and it shows. Highsmith spoken this offseason of reaching double-digit sacks this season. That now seems like a foregone conclusion, but what Highsmith wants is victories. It's definitely an encouraging start because I'm starting fast, but I try not to get caught up at it, Highsmith said. It doesn't matter what I'm doing right now. We're 1-3. That's the only thing that matters right now. I'm going to go out there and do my best job and produce and try to help my team and try to help the team win. I care less about production if we're not winning. Good athlete at Eugene Ashley High School in Wilmington, North Carolina. Highsmith didn't take sports all that seriously prior to high school. He was more interested in video games, a common issue for young people today. Fire helped change that, insisting the eldest of his 2 children to put down the game controller. His parents, Sam and Pam Highsmith, were both school teachers and demand their children work hard both in the classroom and extracurricular activities. He did a good job of instilling that work ethic in me, Highsmith said. It's something he told me since I was young. It really came on me when I was in high school. I was addicted to video games instead of football. And how Alex Highsmith, I mean, no doubt about it, third round overall pick, 102nd overall back 2 years ago, coming out of Charlotte. I mean, you look at the numbers right there. I mean, for this guy right here, I mean, the way he's progressed year by year. For his career, I mean, he's had 2 sacks in his rookie year. I mean, of course, I mean, a lot of that too was a lot more playing time by Bud Dupree. But then 6 games back last year, and then 5.5 this year. Very quick pace, to say the least. And he made his debut last year for the Black and Gold. Excuse me, he made his debut 2 years ago for the Black and Gold. It was a week after the Baltimore Braves game that they barely hung on to, where they lost 17-23. And that's the thing too. I mean, then you look at a guy like TJ Watt, by the way, speaking of which, right now, I mean, Highsmith, I think he's very good right now, but he's clearly not the impact changer. And you know what? I just want to say this real quickly. I mean, without TJ Watt, I know they're 0-7, and just mentioned earlier at the top of the show, but I really do believe a lot of these games, they are in it. They're not that far off from winning these games. I do feel like, you know what, where I have to disagree with Chris Holtby. I mean, without TJ Watt being 4-0, I'm not sure about that. I'd probably say 3-1, maybe yellow 2-2. I I think if anything, if I had to go back in time, if they still win that Bengals game, that first game, the way they start off and finished, and then maybe I could argue the Patriots. I could see 2-0 right there, but I think they drop to the Cleveland Browns and then win last week versus the Jets. I'd say they'd be 3-1 for the season. I'm not sure about being undefeated, only because a lot of things with the offense trying to move the ball a lot more. And speaking of TJ Watt, too, it was mentioned by Adam Schefter and Brooke Pryor yesterday, who was recovering from a torn pec. He also had knee surgery to clean up, which occurred in the preseason. And we all know what game that was. That was against the Detroit Lions. Remember, he came out, I think, a little hobbly in that game. It was set up a potential return initially when he first tore the pec and after he had the evaluation a few days later for a return versus the Eagles, which will be on the 30th, but that doesn't seem like it's likely right there. That would have been in week 8. But instead, it looks to hopefully come after bye week, which I felt like was more reasonable time. I mean, when you got a guy coming off the pec injury, I'm not so sure if I want to rush guy just yet. I mean, watching him develop, he's been hitting it hard, of course, but I just not so sure if I want to test waters just yet. His knee surgery occurred during the same week that his brother JJ Watt had to have his heart shot back into the normal rhythm. The other Watt, he ended up playing 3 days later after his procedure. He registered 3 tackles and 2 deflected passes with the Arizona Cardinals during a victory over the Panthers. I'm just not buying into this notion. I know they're 0-7. The record says what it is. I mean, he is clearly their most valuable player. I mean, on this team. But to be honest with you, I'm not gonna. I just this year alone, I have a hard time believing that he's the reason why they're unbeaten. I mean, let's say you. If you guys ever want to follow me again on social media, you can follow me on Twitter at ManSteelCGR and on Instagram at ManSteelNation. I'm just not buying into the hype right now about them being winless without him. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up real quickly. Some other injuries going to this game real quick. Tomo did say Keller Witherspoon, he'll be out with a hamstring. Also, Terrell Edmonds, who was in concussion protocol, who appeared on Thursday on the injury report versus the. No, not Thursday. Excuse me. I'm thinking of someone else. Terrell Edmonds, he didn't practice on Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday he was limited. He was marked as questionable, but he doesn't seem like he's gonna be ready to go, and he has definitely been ruled out for this game right now. Cam Sutton, he had groin and Cam Hayward and elbow and ankle. And as far as the injury report goes, definitely be without Keller Witherspoon and Terrell Edmonds. Those 2 guys will be out of today's game. Then you also have Cam Sutton, who was marked as questionable with groin and hamstring. We'll see what happens there. The Bills will be without 5 players, 3 of which are stars. Cornerback Christian Benford, hand, tight end Dawson Knox, foot and hamstring, and free safety Jordan Poyer. Those guys will be out of today's game, in addition to wide receiver Jameson Crowder, who's dealing with an ankle, and wide receiver Jake Kumaro. Those will be the guys out for this game in the Steelers versus Bills matchup right there. So let's go ahead and get into the keys for today's game. Key number 1, I'm going to go with bring the heat. Josh Allen right now, for all his career, he is sacked 3 or more times in his career. He is 8-12. He has been sacked for a total of 82 times for a loss of 513 yards. Stephon Diggs, I mean, that is be a key right there. I mean, see what Josh Allen's doing. He is an explosive cat. Could definitely make a lot of moves with his legs. I think, if anything, he's probably arguably the best mobile quarterback right now in this league. I mean, outside Lamar Jackson, I personally like him better, to be honest with you, as far as just the all-around total package. I mean, you talk about Lamar Jackson still being like potentially a once-in-a league MVP. I think Josh Allen, it's his year to really take that throne this year, so to speak. And I'll just go ahead and roll with him for that. I mean, just see what he's doing. Those are definitely on a whole nother stratosphere, of course, with their only loss of the season, coming on the road versus the Miami Dolphins 2 weeks ago, right there. Lost a heartbreaker right there in a barn burner. It was 19-21 right there. I mean, yet still, I mean, in that game, I mean, when you look at like the Buffalo Bills versus Miami Dolphins game right there, he still managed, I mean, in that game to complete 19 of 34 passes. I mean, not his best completion percentage, but he still threw. No, excuse me. He still completed 42 of 63 passes for 400 yards with 2 touchdowns, no picks. Got sacked 4 times for 18 yards with a net passing yards of 382 yards on the game. He is definitely going to be obviously the most focused guy offensively for the Bills by the Steelers defense. And like I said, the second key is to be Stephon Diggs for Steelers secondary. Diggs is third in the league with 406 receiving yards and is first in touchdowns with 4. Turnover ratio. This is going to be another big component of this game. The only time that they won the turnover ratio, they were +5. That was in the opener versus the Cincinnati Bengals right there. They're +5. Ever since then, their turnover ratio has significantly dropped right here. The Steelers right now are +1 right there. So they've been -4 the last couple of weeks. They're 12th in the league. Take care of the ball. While the Bills are 6th in the league right there with a +2 ratio. They've created 9 takeaways, which includes 7 picks and 2 fumble recoveries. Same amount of picks as the Steelers. But, I mean, they're a little bit sloppy with turning over the ball right there. They're 10th in the league right now with takeaways. 7 right now. With 3 interceptions, 4 fumbles lost right there. So that could be something very key right there. If they could find a way to force some turnovers right there, similar to how they did against Cincinnati, maybe we'll see. And last but not least, slaying the Dragons. The Bills' 2 monsters of right defensive end Von Miller and left defensive end Greg Rousseau will give both Chooks and Dan Moore right there, right and left tackles right there. They both have combined for 7 sacks and 10 quarterback hits and 10 tackles for a loss right there. That is definitely going to be, no doubt about it, a big focus right there. They could find a way to stay in it for those games. I mean, we'll see, but that is going to be a very daunting task. And Von Miller, let's be honest, everywhere he's delivered a Super Bowl. May as well call this guy the Messiah. I mean, like in sports terms, like wherever he goes, I mean, he also takes his team to the promised land. It's been proven in his career. I mean, throughout the most part. But anyway, that's going to do it for this edition here of Showblitz here of the Man of Steel podcast. Once again, you guys can follow me on social media on Twitter at Man of Steel CGR and on Instagram at Man of Steel Nation. As always, leave it. Don't be trolling, be rolling. Here we go, series. Here we go, and I'll try and get a post game hopefully by tonight at the latest. Look for it about, I'd say like about 9 Eastern. But anyway, thanks for joining in, and let's see how this game goes and weeks come. Thank you for watching the Men of Steel podcast with your host, Charles Prodigy Richey, here on YouTube. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all the latest Men of Steel podcast episodes, feel free to download them on Mixcloud, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts.